and onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Let us come together and build Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I want to welcome you to this segment of the program where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for meaningful engagement. And I want to start off, as I did with the folks on the radio. That's before Facebook and YouTube join us. Last night, the internet failed us. I started the program, and midway, the internet went down. And with technology, it is what it is, right? I do apologize for the inconvenience caused, because a number of people called me thereafter saying, hey, I was just listening to you and I realized you were no longer live, you were no longer on, or I was lying on my bed or my couch listening to you and following the program. Because if you don't know, a great number of people listen to this program. All right. Yesterday's program, 40,000 plus people listened in. The previous program, I think we had 30 something thousand people listening in. In other words, a great number of people listen to this program for information. And that's just on Facebook. I am not factoring YouTube. 2,000 plus people listening to me there. The radio, we have a wider reach on the radio. So a lot of people listen to the program. Yeah, so the program yesterday, 40,300 people listened to that program. The program before that, 18,700 people listened to that program on Facebook. The program before that, 20,800 people listened to that program. The program before that, 34,900 people listened to that program. And that's just on Facebook. All right, that's raw data on Facebook. We have the radio, Vibes 101.3 FM and Vibes 106.3 FM. That's here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You can listen to me in your vehicle. You can listen to me on your radio in your home. You can listen to me on the block, on the radio itself, FM radio. And then we have the online platforms. All right. So we reach great many people on a daily basis. And there isn't a program in Grenada that can boast of that kind of listenership. Bearing in mind, we are talk radio. We deal with current affairs. We deal with politics. We deal with economics. We deal with things that are somewhat boring for the ears. But Grenadians consume a lot of information and they can decipher, they can discern, where they would go to get correct information, where they would be educated, empowered, enlightened, motivated, in a better position in terms of knowledge. That bank, the knowledge bank, that's where they come to this program. So again, I do apologize for, the internet issue there last evening. But let's get into the meat of this morning's conversation. I took the time last evening to listen, to follow the elections in Canada and in Trinidad. That's me. I love politics. I preferred following the election in Canada for many reasons, right? And we saw the incumbent maintaining power, retaining power, staying in power, the Liberals, right? Mark Carney. So he won the Canada election. They're still waiting to see whether it would be with a slim majority or whether it would be a minority government. But that's the nature of Canada's election. You have a number of parties. This time around, it was really a race between the Liberals and the Conservatives, the two main parties. All right. The BQ and the NDP, they didn't do so well this time around. But remember, the Liberals, they had Justin Trudeau. His popularity was in the tank, and people just got tired of him being there for quite a number of years. Been there for a good while. Don't know if it's 10 or 9 or so, but he's been there for 2 elections, kind of back to back. All right. But the people of Canada spoke loudly with what's happening in the United States, all the tariff, the trade wars, and that kind of thing. They preferred to go with the Liberals, to keep them. And then in Trinidad, and I hope folks are not confusing themselves with the election in Trinidad and thinking that because it's a woman in Trinidad, that somehow magically this woman here who is in opposition could end up in power. This is fantasy. Trinidad's election is unique. The race card is high in Trinidad. The race card. The Indians, they tend to support predominantly so the UNC. And the blacks, the Afro-Trinis, they tend to support PNM. This time around, a lot of Afro-blacks or black people, right, or African Trinis, so to speak, they supported the UNC and the other parties that join up because they were disappointed with PNM. And mind you, PNM saw that defeat coming long time ago. That is why Keith Rowley, who been there for a good 10 years as Prime Minister, I think from 2015 all the way up to 2025, right? He decided to bow out, thinking that he would put a younger individual, Stuart Young, and somehow they're going to be victorious. But that was not the case. The people in Trinidad and Tobago, they have spoken. They wanted something fresh, something new in terms of the country, the direction that the country would be going, not the leader, because Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Prime Minister-elect, she was there before. And when you have this amalgamation of parties, all this make-up piece, it is quite difficult to manage, right? This time they got a good amount of seats, which is very, very impressive. All right, so let's see how it goes. this join up thing, coalition, and it's an amalgamation of all kind of peace party come together to get rid of the PNM. But don't confuse Trinidad's election with Grenada. All right? Confuse yourself with that. This is not a woman's thing in Trinidad. It was never a woman's thing. It's more a race thing than anything else. All right? But people want to change and they went back to the UNC. We wish Prasad Bisesa all the best. She's 80 something, 83, 84, somewhere around there. Early 80s. Let's see how it goes. All right? Let's see how it goes. But the election happened and the results are in. People have spoken in Canada and in Trinidad. I think Australia goes to the polls soon too. And in the region, you have a number of elections pending. Jamaica, the election should be before September. I think Guyana is not far. I also think St. Vincent is not far. And somewhere up the islands, either Antigua or St. Kitts and Nevis, one of them. But you have quite a number of elections within the region this period. All right? Someone is saying to me that Kamala Prasad Bisesa is 73. Well, she looks pretty much 80 something. All right? So someone is saying 73. It's easy to just Google and get her age. All right? At the end of the day, folks, people have spoken, but please don't confuse yourself with Trinidad's election and the situation in Grenada, because you have an opposition leader here in Grenada who is a female, and you have, we had Bisesa being opposition and a female. No. Totally different. All right? Trinidad is a race. Trinidad is a whole pile of stuff. And not only that, remember, Keith Rowley been there for a very long time, 10 years straight. All right? And he saw that coming. PNM became very unpopular. And in fact, Keith Rowley became very arrogant over a period of time. All right? And there was this, situation where the PNM, in particular, the supporters, saw Young as a hand-picked leader by Keith Rowley. All right? Similar with Emlyn Pay. People still see Emlyn Pay as hand-picked by Keith Mitchell. Although, yes, they had elections. Yes, they had, the convention and so on. But people still see it that way. Similar in Trinidad. People saw Stuart Young as handpicked by Keith Rowley and not the PNM, the members of the PNM, the delegates of the PNM, them having a contest and having a choice to choose who they want to be leader of the PNM. But Stuart became acting prime minister or prime minister, because I think he was sworn in, and then he called a snap election thereafter to his own demise. All right, but the writing was already on the wall in Trinidad for the PNM. They became very, very unpopular. In fact, polls were done, and that is what caused Keith Rowley to bow out quite quickly. But at least he can say he bowed out when he was prime minister. So he didn't lose while as prime minister. All right? I think he remained the leader of the PNM and Stuart Young, the leader of the country at the time. But let's see how it goes. All right? Let's see how it goes. So don't confuse yourself with the elections or the election in Trinidad and Grenada situation. No, we have a very popular prime minister here in Grenada, liked, loved, viable. He's a political giant in this business, and he has a lot to give to this country, and he will be in power for a very long time. It might be 10, 15 years, right? The opposition, they're weak. They're fighting among themselves. Now you have this movement. Peter David, he has something called the movement. And some people believe that it's like the remnants of the RMC. So that's what some people believe. They believe that this movement thing is like the remains or the remaining elements of the RMC that are trying to pull things together. I don't know. I don't have the facts, so I can't say yea or nay, but that is what it feels like. That is what people believe. And third parties really not going to get anywhere. Same thing in Trinidad. You either join up with one of the major political parties or else you're nowhere. Same thing in Canada. And we have a similar system. First past the post, we have a similar system. All right? Third parties tend to be useless. They could be a spoiler, but generally speaking, in this day and age, they are not so important. Good. So let's get into the meat of the discussion. Last night I was saying to you, I want to commend Claudette Joseph for giving an update on cell phone gate. All right? Giving an update on cell phone gate with Sheldon Scott, the Tomcat.
Our position is that in law he is obligated to pay interest on the money at this point. He doesn't want to pay interest. So what we have ultimately decided that we will do is that we will proceed to court, since we could not arrive at a negotiated settlement. So we have completed preparation of the case, and quite truthfully, it's just a matter of filing the case against him.
Right. So the Honorable Claudette Joseph, Attorney General there, making it very clear that the matter is heading to court. Right? So it's headed to court. It's just a matter of filing the required documents so that it can go to trial or go to court. The guy, or Sheldon Scott, doesn't want to pay interest on what he owes. Because remember, Sheldon Scott was not employed at the time with the government of Grenada. He was a parliamentary secretary before. So he was assigned a number, and the government was paying his monthly cell phone bills. Every month, the government would pay his cell phone bill. When he was no longer a parliamentary secretary, he was employed with the New National Party. That's a political party, not government. So don't get that confused. So what's supposed to happen? He should have ceased from using that number that the government, that taxpayers' money, was paying that bill every month for. He should have handed that thing in because he knows better. He should know. you hand it in or you cease from using it. If you stop using it, then there wouldn't be a bill coming in every month, or the bill would be kind of standard. It's just like you having a landline phone that has a fixed amount. And then if you make cell phone calls or if you make additional calls, then it would add up. But the $30-something is fixed. Every month you call, you end call, you must pay at least the $34 or $35. If you make additional calls, then you would have to pay more. So it's a similar situation. So if you stop using the number, then just the basic. All right? So in 3 months, just a 3-month period, he used the phone for almost 3 years. But in a 3-month period, the guy's bill was almost $70,000. But taxpayers' money went to pay his bills. Because every month, the government of Grenada at the time were actually paying the bills. And his bill was a part of that pool. But he was not working with the government of Grenada. He was working with the new National Party. That's who he was employed with. So he was pressured because I broke that story. And he came out after public pressure and admitted to wrongdoing. And at that time, he made it clear that he would not cost taxpayers 1 cent. He would pay everything back and that kind of, what's to that effect? Right? But up to this day, taxpayers are still waiting. So I'm happy that the Honorable Claudette Joseph decided as government, the matter will head to court. That's the way to go. Because there are a lot of people, a lot of NDC supporters who are looking forward to this happening long. Because there are people who wanted an update. They wanted to know. They would call me. Can I want to know about this particular matter? Because this guy is the main mouthpiece for the NNP. He's on a program, an NNP program, bumping his gum every night, or almost every night. And people see this guy for who he is. This particular matter, cell phone gate, is one that would go down in the books. It would go down in the books. All right? So, really love to see what is happening with that particular matter. And let us continue to support the Honorable Claudette Joseph as she pursues this particular individual. That's the way to go. I love it. I want to say also the government continues to do a lot in this country. I saw the folks working on the Priti Alasani task force, the watch parties, the people who would farm watch. They would go around, monitor the lands, and they launched that. They recruited some young people and, middle-aged and so to be a part of that, which is good.
Priti Alasani is the cancer of the agricultural society, and we need to get rid of it. And you're going to be playing that important role in helping us to do so. So with the backing of the training and understanding your rights, the rights of the criminal, because they do have rights also, and understanding the procedures and all the other things that would have outlined in terms of administration, in terms of personal duties, in terms of personal development, etc. We do expect you to be able to perform exceedingly well. So the Ministry of Agriculture is happy that you have been selected. We hope that you could stay the course. We do expect that you take your work seriously. We are at the ministry putting a number of structures in place. As you know, you'll be deployed into various districts based on the agricultural districts. Of course, it is not 8 to 4 job. For those of you who had that notion that you come in 8 to 4, then please get that notion out of your head, because the criminals don't knock off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah? They continue to work. They continue to work on weekends. They continue to work on holidays. And I think I would have mentioned to you, a guy who normally steals yams said to me that he likes when the rain falling, because that is the best time to steal yams. So while the farmer and others may want to take cover, he's happy about that. So again, we have to understand how they think, how they react, and of course to be able to be a step ahead, because quite frankly, some of them are much smarter than us and they keep ahead. So we have to also be on top of the game. So the Ministry of Agriculture is very committed to this process. We have a budgetary allocation of approximately $600,000 that we put in towards this unit. Again, it is not two separate units, it is one unit under the RGPF. Of course, the Ministry of Agriculture under Inspector Daniel would manage that aspect, but we do expect some of the issues that would come up may be criminal in intent, and of course the police have to do the initial investigation, etc. And you, of course, would supplement and to be able to follow through. We have, of course, as was mentioned before, we're going to be providing uniform, transportation allowance, necessary equipment, iPad, etc., so that you could be able to capture your data, because key and important is data. We need to understand what is happening. So you cannot say to Inspector Daniel that you went out in the field today and there's nothing recorded, to say that that you actually was out in the field. So key and important, as I've said again, is data, the record, so that you could validate this information. Of course, the Royal Grenada Police Force do a monthly analysis of the issues of theft, and especially pretty larceny. So you become very critical. So while the station may gather some information, you also have to supplement it. But most of it is not just gathering data for data's sake, but is looking at trends, is looking at what is happening at the community level, what is happening, so that we could be able to work collaboratively to counteract that, to be able to put additional resources and so.
Yes, that's very, very good. Very good indeed. All right. You have a lot of farmers who would love to feel more secured, and seeing farm watch officials or workers in the field monitoring, keeping in touch, following up. That's good. That's really, really good. So now they're employed to go there. So they're employed and will be deployed in the different districts, on the different farms and in areas where you have a lot of farmers, taking data, following up, building a relationship with the farmers. That is good. That is really, really good. I want to say that the NDC continues to deliver to the Grenadian people. And there's some small things that are very, very important to our people. But the NNP was in power for a very long time, but it just couldn't see those things as important. For example, a bathroom and a toilet facility at the Montrouge playing field. The Montrouge playing field has become a very important one for the people of South St. George and the people of Grenada generally, because you have bingos, you have cricket competition, you have football, a whole pile of things happening at that venue. So having a bathroom and toilet facility at that venue is key, or at least having a changing room, having a toilet facility where you can, number one and number two, that to me is key, very important. Something as simple as that. The NNP just never saw the wisdom in making sure that such a main playing field has something like that. Just as simple as that, right? So the Honorable Andy Williams, he's doing that. He's almost there in terms of getting that completed for the people of the Great South. And some people may say, well, this is a small thing, but as small as it might be, the vision wasn't there during the NNP time to get it done. And we are seeing a similar thing happening in other playing fields throughout the country. And some people may say, well, we've seen a lot of what's happening in the south of the island and in St. David, and to a certain extent, Carriacou, and to a certain extent, St. George Northeast. Folks, all the MPs, ministers of government, they're doing a lot of work. But what is needed is for there to be a dedicated PR person paid a small sum, $1,500, $2,000, might be employed to work in two areas: to capture the moment, to upload the stuff on Facebook and Instagram or on YouTube, right? To produce small videos, short videos, reels, to do releases, to capture the moment, photos and so on, of the MPs, of the ministers in the constituency doing the work and making sure that the work is done. Because that is what it is, right? So don't believe that the other MPs are not doing equally the same or doing the work within the constituency. They are. But what needs to happen, they need to appreciate the time that we are living in. We are in a technological age. So you have to have somebody who is tech savvy, who can take out a short video of that piece of road that you did with you in it, or that piece of drain, or that house that you're building for somebody, or that assistance you're giving to this family, or that playing field that you're upgrading, or that community center that you're renovating, or that school that you're refurbishing, or that, solar lights that you're erecting. That is needed because your constituency may have 10 villages and you might be doing some work in one village. How would the other 9 villages with villagers, constituents, know that you're in your constituency doing this work in this village? Technology. They don't have to come there physically, but video evidence is enough. That is important. Technology, access to information. So GIS alone cannot do it, because let me be honest with you, people don't look at GIS as they're supposed to. And that's just the truth. People don't go on the GIS page as one may think. There are some people who believe so, but that's not the case. GIS would produce content and they will send it to the media. Some of the media houses will never, ever publish those stories. I'm telling you. So there is a need for the MP not to just rely on GIS, but use the technology. A simple iPhone could do a better job than those big cameras that you are seeing with, that the journalists or reporters are carrying. A simple iPhone can do a way better job than those big old cameras. Smaller is better with technology nowadays. If you check GIS and you look at the videos, for example, because I'm a person who believe in data. If you check GIS and you look at the videos, you'd realize the news, for example, 2,000 people view that thing, right? Then the video before that, 2,000 people again. The pan thing, that's different, right? Because it's a prolonged thing. So you had about 18,000 people viewing that. That's the pan expression. That's different. GIS stuff, right? The National Sports Award, that's different. 7,000 something people view that thing on Facebook. But actual GIS videos, the World Intellectual Property Organization Director General visited, and 1,600 people. The Honorable Claudette Joseph's statement on GIS there regarding property rights and so on, 3,000 people. GIS News, 2,700 people view that, right? And we can go on and on. So not many people go on GIS for the information, although GIS is doing a fantastic job in producing and uploading. But if the MPs do like Andy, for example, Andy has the Honorable Andy Williams, he has a young man who is assigned to somewhere else, but who within his ministry, within his, activities and so on, he can make time to go with him everywhere and, capture the moment. And that's uploaded. He's tech savvy, he does it quickly, and people see. So the people overseas, for example, they get to know what the Honorable Andy Williams is doing. So you need that in this day and age. Technology. You have to utilize technology. When I started doing this program, I was not carrying the program concurrently on Facebook and YouTube. But with technology, you have to adapt. You have to, learn it quickly and fall in line. So for me, I am running the program concurrently on radio, Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM, Facebook, Grenada Transformation Agenda, and YouTube, Vision Information Services. So I run it at the same time on all those platforms. So you can get the program on any of those platforms. That's important. But I still maintain Facebook because I think that's where the majority of Grenadians are still. Those overseas and those here in Grenada. All right? I still maintain that. Because when I look at the numbers, that is where it's huge. You could imagine doing a program and having 40,000 people view that program. That's more than the people who voted in the last election. All right? So the numbers can't lie. And then YouTube, I have a 2,000 something people who normally view on YouTube. But that's like GIS, right? Talking Points, the NNP main program, they would have 2,000 something people, 3,000 something people viewing them on YouTube. But on Facebook, 1,000 something, 2,000. It's poor. But in this day and age, there is a need to have some young person who is tech savvy, who understands the technology, who could do quick editing, who could do quick posting, and they can manage your Facebook page and they can manage your Instagram or your X or whatever, upload stuff. Because you see, it's about making the public, because you see, politics is perception. When Nicholas Steele went under the tunnel and was photographed with, shovel in hand, with the asphalt and so on under the tunnel, either he was patching the hole or plain he was patching the hole, everybody in the tongue of St. George thought that he was patching all the holes in St. George or in the tongue of St. George. That's perception. That was not the case. But they saw that image and they say, wow, this guy is like us. This guy is down to earth. This guy is patching the holes. But that was not the case. But that's politics. Right? And it goes across the board. So it is important for all the MPs, all the ministers. And you can find creative ways to do so. Because a person who's employed in your ministry, paid in your ministry to do certain things, you can have them also assigned to taking photographs, to doing videos, and to following you and capturing the moment. You don't have to find additional resources to do that. All right? So it's so important because you see, you have some public relations officers in the different ministries. They believe that they're public servants and that they are permanently employed, and that them being seen with the minister capturing certain things, it might come across to be too political for them. You have a lot of them who got employment under the NDC. There are those who were there before under NNP. Well, don't even talk about them. So, and a lot of them come across to be very lazy. They're good at doing a photo and writing a press release, right? That is what they're good at. They're not good at making short videos, reels, uploading stuff. They're just not good at that. And they're not interested. But videos are more powerful now than photos. Before time, people used to say what a photo tells 1,000 words, that kind of thing. Well, a video tells 1,000,000. Video evidence, that is what is important. So a lot of them, they got work under the NDC and they became very lazy, and they don't even want to be seen with the minister or ministers. They hide, right? That's how they function. So you have to get somebody who is like you, who supports the NDC and who wants good for the NDC, and you want that person to be following you, capturing the moment, uploading stuff on your page, and you need to use your name, right? So for example, Tessa Sincere, she's a caretaker. She is doing a lot of work in that constituency. But if you look for Tessa Sincere and you look for Taylor Made is her name on Facebook, where you see all the stuff being uploaded. But Taylor Made is not on the ballot. When election time comes around, it's Tessa Sincere that's on the ballot, the NDC candidate. So you have to use your name. So people know it's the Honorable Ron Redhead, it's the Honorable Tevin Andrews. It's, that's doing the work. That's politics. That is politics. So it's so important. There's some little things that we need to, sharpen up on. The PR, government is doing a lot. The ministers, the MPs, they're doing a lot of work. But having a personal person assigned to you to capture the moment and upload the stuff. Because, people are out there saying, well, this person and that person, and because all who they're hearing and seeing is that person. That doesn't mean to say the others are not doing work. All right? But again, politics is perception. That is why sometimes you have to toot your own horns in politics. Like me, I'm in talk radio. Many a times I boast and I toot my own horn and I let you know that I am the Dan Gorgon in talk radio. I'm the best. I am the best in talk radio. And I have the evidence, the data to back it up. And I let people know that. The littlest child knows Kem Jones. The elder citizen knows Kem Jones. When you hear my voice, you know it's Kem Jones. My voice is conspicuous. It's unique. It's special. Right? It's what it is. That's what it is. Talk radio, it's similar. You have to make people know what's going down. You got to remind them, I am the best in this business. And no one could contest. I dominate talk radio in the state of Grenada. And if you speak to people in the diaspora, if they want to know what's going down here, they tune into me. It's simple like that. Same thing in politics. You got to let people know that, right? That's so important. So understanding that is key, all right? Because a lot of those ministers, a lot of those MPs, they're doing a fantastic job. They're working hard, but it needs to be captured, uploaded. It needs to be out there. It needs to be out there. People need to appreciate that and see it and that kind of thing. All right? Folks, I have the tickets, right? The tickets for the excursion. Tickets. I have the tickets. A lot. And it's going fast. That's one thing. Tickets, they're going fast for Carriacou. All right? So I have the tickets. I have the tickets for Carriacou. It's $100 for one. $100 for one. And it's going fast. All right? It's going pretty fast. The tickets are Carriacou. Great. So if you're interested in going with us up to Carriacou on June the 21st, 2 days before the 3-year anniversary, but we are going to Carriacou and celebrate with the Honorable Tevin Andrews in a different way. We are not going there to have a political meeting or rally. The NNP, they bumping their gum, saying all kinds of stuff. We're going to see for ourselves. We're going to see what is taking place in Carriacou. Nobody has to tell us. We're going up there. And you will get the opportunity because we're going up very early and we're coming on late. So if you have your crew, you have your friends, you have a group, and you want to go up to Carriacou, that's a good opportunity to go. Spend the entire day. We will be at Paradise Beach in Carriacou. That's one of the best beaches in the world. Paradise Beach. You will have food, you will have drinks on sale there, music, the vibes go nice. You bathe, you soak, you eat, you drink, you go around Carriacou, because we're going to kind of tour around Carriacou. So you're going to be given that opportunity to go around Carriacou to see, right? A kind of motorcade style. And we're going to spend a wonderful time. If you have family, friends, you could visit them. It's a whole day thing into night. You can go your group. You like my good friend called me, said, boy, I have like a group here. I want 5 tickets. So he paid for the 5 tickets already. Another person said she has a group. She wants 12. Another person said they want 18. Another person 30. So a number of people, they, and 1 or 2 people say 1, 2, 4, 5, but it's going fast because people want to be there. They want to come and enjoy the vibes. It will be a Saturday, so it's Saturday, 21st day of June. We're going to celebrate 3 years in a special way in Carriacou. You know the people at Carriacou. They're warm, they're friendly, they're nice, they're gems, they're family. So if you're interested, give me a call. Give me a call. I have tickets by Ricky's Bar in St. George's. My favorite bar where I'm normally at. So I have tickets there. You can purchase tickets right there. As I speak, it's 100 EC. So, maybe you have some friends, and you're in different constituencies, it's a good opportunity, the young, the middle-aged, the elderly, in the different constituencies throughout mainland Grenada to organize a bus or two, organize some folks, and let's go up to Carriacou. We're going up with the Osprey, the 2 Ospreys, all right? 2 Ospreys. So organize your crew. Tio, right? So Tio said, me and my crew from St. George Northwest will be there, all right? So again, so it's 2. How much people the boat can hold? That's I'm not the captain, all right? My good friend Bernadette Stanislas there, but I could call the captain and find out, right? So but on average, it can hold a good amount of people, all right? So we have just enough tickets, Bernadette. So if you're coming down, Bernadette, I think you're in the United States. I think so, somewhere either Canada or United States. A good parties are. If you're coming, there are room for you. We have room for you. All right, and I'm gonna save a seat for you, Bernadette. So, just saying again, we have tickets, and they're going fast. If you intend to go up, if you want to go up, if you want to be a part of this, it would be a good opportunity to just have a nice time. Going to Carriacou. It's June the 21st. All right, 2/1, 21st day of June. So we're going to go up early. No chem in Grenville. All right. So that's Bernadette in Grenville. All right, Bernadette. I thought you were the Bernadette that I normally chit chat with overseas, but no problem. All right. All Bernadettes are good people. Nice. So again, just saying the tickets, they're available. Holler at me, and I have quite a bit. But people already call and say, well, Kema 130, Kema 140, Kema 120, Kema 110, Kema 1, because they're mobilizing their friends, their group, their family. They're going up. They're going up and have a nice time. All right. So Allison saying, hey, Kema, I need 2 tickets. That's my neighbor. Allison Prosper. That's my neighbor. That's my people. 2 tickets. There are a number for the people. Saying, hey, Kema, I want tickets. I have it. All right. It's 100 EC. 100 EC. It's 100 EC. So link me up, holler at me, and I go, I go bring it for you, I go reach out to you, I go, it's 100 EC for one. It's a return. You don't have to pay no more money. All right. Richardson saying he needs 2. So, just link me up, holler at me. I have the tickets. They're available, and earlier you buy them is better for you. So you avoid the rush. All right? You avoid the rush. Because this time around, we're not going up on the Dolly C or Tiribay Express or so. These are pan boat and it's bigger. Osprey is less. Remember, I went up there with an excursion with the Dolly C. We had 700 and something people that went up with me. All right? Osprey is different. Totally different. But it's a good opportunity if you have groups. The women's arm of the NDC, a number of them reached out to me already. The president and others. The youth arm of the NDC. You're in a constituency branch. You could organize and mobilize. Let's go up and show our support to the Honorable Tevin Andrews. Right? You're hearing a lot of things. NNP saying all kind of stuff. Let's go up for ourselves. Post-burial. All right? Post-burial. Let's go up and see for ourselves. Let's eat, drink, bathe, have a wonderful time. All right? They can't wait to welcome us in Carriacou. In fact, I've been coordinating with them so that things could be organized properly and so on as they normally do. Right? So it's a good opportunity. It's a really good opportunity. But I have the tickets. Tickets is $100, 100 EC. All right? So I have the tickets. Just giving you a heads up. Then the event in New York, that is on the last day in May, Saturday, May the 31st at 618 East 87th Street, the backyard. People know it as the backyard. All right? So that event is organized by a group of people in New York. In my honor, I will be celebrating 11 years in talk radio. In May. 11 years. Wow. Time flies. In May. we will be celebrating 3 years as government, as party, we're in government. We work hard, we're in government. Celebrating 3 years, close to May, in June. And then we started a project, the radio station / new studio. We started that project, purchased the land, excavated, purchased materials, buy stuff piece by piece, and we get in there. But we need the resources to continue. So you'll be updated on that when I am in New York. The Honorable Ron Redhead will accompany me in New York, and my good pal, well, may I say, the Honorable Ian Thomas, all right, Django. So he will accompany me to New York. So it's a big thing, all right, for that particular event, as I seek to raise, and all the donations, all the funds from this event will be going towards the studio and the radio station project, because we want to get that going in a big way, all right, in a big way. So you will be updated, you will get to know what's going down on that, but we are well on our way with that particular project, all right? We're well on our way with that particular project. Trust me on that one. Good? So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the p.m. to continue that mission. You know, from time to time, we would have little challenges and so on. You can't run away from that. Can't run away from that. Like, for example, last night, internet, but you can't give up. You have to continue with that. If you give up, then you fail. You have to continue with those challenges. It happens to nearly every radio station, nearly every program. Those things do happen. So have a nice day. Take good care, and bye for now.